Hi and welcome to episode 20 of the eTravel Weekly Show from virtualmissfriday.com. I'm Michelle Dale and this is a show dedicated to providing insights into online business, mindset and travel for virtual assistants and digital nomads. In this week's show, we're going to be looking at top tips for confidence on consultations on the VMF blog. We've also got a NewPLR Pack, which is called Earning Passive Income Online. Then we're going to look at my eTravel Weekly discoveries, which are choosing those that choose you, what makes a successful entrepreneur, and a Nicola Kane Cross podcast interview. So let's get started with the show.
Oh, groovy, baby. Yeah.
So on this week's blog, I've written a post about top tips for maintaining confidence on consultations. And basically, I wrote this post based on a conversation I had this week from a member inside my VA Passport group. And basically, there's a free coaching session that people can book once a month with me. And we just get together and it's only a 15-minute chat, but we can get a lot done in that time. And basically, she wanted some tips for conducting consultations with confidence. And I've written out a few here. Some of these are my top tips for, confidence on consultations. The first one is basically to do as much research as possible into the client before you make that call. So usually you know a little bit about them from their booking. Like, for example, their email, they may mention something, or you could Google their name and find them on LinkedIn, that type of thing. So the really, really good thing is to basically do a lot of research on the client. So you can then use that research in the consultation. And that is so good for confidence because it makes you feel like you know the person, you know the person's business before you've even, had contact with them and engaged them as a client. So you can say things that you noticed on their blog, something, or you noticed on their social media, or you read something about them on LinkedIn, that type of thing. So that's a really, really good pointer for before the consultation. Another thing that you can do to prepare yourself for the consultations is basically to ask them. If you don't know what they want to talk to you about, ask them. So let's say, for example, they book an appointment, but they haven't left any notes on your appointment booking system or anything like that. What you can do is go back to them and say, just to maximize the time on the call, could you please tell me what you want to talk about and how I can help you, and what things should I be focusing on? Is there anything that I need to look up before our call goes ahead? So that's another way that you can get confidence, simply by, being prepared and knowing what's going to happen in the conversation and what you're going to be discussing. Another top tip I've given is visualization. I use visualization so much, not just in my business, but in really multiple areas of my life. So it's a really good idea just before the call, if you really, really want the client, just to do a visualization, close your eyes and think about the call start to finish, how it goes. Do you secure the client? Can you confidently answer all their questions? You handle objections really well, the client's really happy, and you end it on a real high note. So do the visualization of how you want that consultation call to go. Another thing that you can do is manage the information while you're inside the consultation call. So basically, clients will ask you a lot of questions and you won't always know the answer immediately. And if you don't know the answer, that can sometimes cause you to kind of like freeze up and go, so basically, the way to avoid that is to just use this technique, which I call, I want to maximize our time, so I'll get back to you. So basically, when someone says to you, so how do your social media services work? What can you do for me on social media? And, what does Twitter, what do you do on Twitter and things like that? Sometimes these answers could be so comprehensive that even if you did sit there and think of them on the spot, you would be talking for like hours. So the best thing for you to do is basically say, I want to maximize our time on this call, so what I'll do is I'll get all the information together after the call and I'll send that through to you, and then try and move on to the next question on the next stage of the call. So if it's something that's really long-winded, or you're totally frozen and you've kind of lost the ability to answer that particular question, just use the follow-up where you say that you're going to email them straight after the call or a couple of hours after the call, and just send them all the information relating to that, just so you don't kind of freeze up and you keep the conversation flowing and you keep the call flowing and you move on to the next thing. And then finally, this is the biggest tip I have, is that don't think about these clients as like, oh, hail the client. It's a potential client, yes, but don't get too concerned about whether you secure that client or whether you don't secure that client. What you need to do and what you need to be focused on is helping that person, and think to yourself, at the end of the day, you're two business owners talking to each other. They're consulting you and they need your help, and you're able to help them with any advice or tips or anything that you want to share, or potential services that you can offer and things like that. So don't be too attached to the outcome of the consultation. I know that may be a little bit contradicting, but it really, really works. If you're not attached to the outcome and you're just simply there to talk to another business owner about their business, then you're going to be so much more confident. So those are my confidence tips, and those are on the blog. So head over to virtualmissfriday.com/Michelle and you'll see those this week. Next thing I want to announce is a new PLR pack, which is inside the store. It's called Earning Passive Income Online. There's 5 articles on getting your product to the masses without hassle, earning passive income online with affiliate banners and links, great reseller and partner programs, 4 steps to building a 4-hour work week, and word of mouth referrals, a brief overview. So those articles you can use on your blog, you can turn them into an ebook. You can pretty much do anything you want with those articles. They are private label rights articles, so you can post them as your own. If you're inside the VA Passport at thevapassport.com, those are free for you and they're in there now. So moving on to this week's e-Travel Weekly Discoveries. I saw this on Seth Godin's blog, and I saw a little piece in here which I thought really resonates with the whole confidence on consultations thing. And basically it's a little bit here which says, it's more for like employees, but it basically says if you've signed up to be approved by, selected by, promoted by, or otherwise chosen by someone who's not going to respond to your efforts, it's not a smart choice. And one last thing, the ultimate privilege is to pick ourselves, to decide that the most important person to be chosen by is ourselves. So even if you don't secure that client, it's just not meant to be. If they can't see you for what you are and for how awesome you are, then don't worry. As long as you believe you're awesome, as long as you have the confidence in yourself and you know about your abilities and your efforts and the things that you can do for clients, that's really, really all that matters. If you pick yourself as a chooser, if you give yourself the power to say go, I hope you'll respect how much power you have and not waste it. So a little bit of wisdom there from Seth Godin, because honestly, he's full of it. The next thing I wanted to talk about was this article I found on businessinsider.com. I found it so interesting. It's called 6 Surprising Things Behind UGG Boots' Massive Success. And this is a really interesting article because it's basically 6 things that you wouldn't normally expect to be good things when you're starting out in business. And obviously, I love UGG boots. I've had several pairs. I've got a pair at the moment. But I've been through several pairs over the years, and they're just a fantastic product. But if he hadn't gone through, the CEO of UGG, if he hadn't gone through these different things, or these things didn't happen to him, there's no way I don't think you would have ever continued with the business. And basically, one of them was that he was ignorant. I mean, he basically didn't realize that there wasn't a market for those boots that he wanted to create right now. Okay, especially in America, because of the durability of sheepskin and things like that. And I am going somewhere with this, so don't worry. But basically, he's saying that his lack of prior knowledge is what kept him going, because at every hurdle, he just thought, well, I've come this far, and I'm not going to give up now. Let me just get over this hurdle and I'll move on. And I think that's a really potent thing for any kind of business owner to learn, that you don't need to know everything at the start to just start your business and move forward. And if there are roadblocks and there are things that everyone is saying, oh no, you shouldn't be doing that because of this, and oh, you'll never be able to market that, or you'll never be able to find clients for that service or whatever, don't listen to people like that. And it's probably better if you don't know these things up front, you don't know everything about your business up front, because I think that's what kind of keeps things going. And he also talked about having perseverance, knowing their audience, and starting small as well. That's another thing. We look at these massive companies, and nearly every single one of them started as just one person with an idea. So, that's another thing, in terms of confidence, that even if you don't secure every client right now, you're really not meant to, because nobody else did. Another thing, that makes a successful entrepreneur is really loving what you do. Obviously, I talk about that a lot. And also knowing when to step back. And I think that's also another very important point that's taken from the article. So it's on Business Insider, and it's all about the guy who founded Uggs. And I love Uggs, and it's nearly winter time, so I've dug them out and I'm wearing them. And then finally, this is an interview that I did with the Business Success Factory with Nicola Kenkwas. She's a lovely lady, by the way. This is one of the most sort of fun interviews I've ever done. I really enjoyed talking to Nicola. So do check out her site at the Business Success Factory, and she's done loads of interviews with loads of really good entrepreneurs. So if you're interested in that or any other interviews with entrepreneurs on the Success Factory, just head over there and check that out at thebusinesssuccessfactory.com. So that's all I have for you this week. I hope you have a great week ahead. Enjoy the weekend if it's you're listening to this on Friday. And I shall see you in our next episode. Take care. And as always, I welcome your comments on the blog, on the video, on the podcast, and anywhere else.
Thank you so much for listening to this show. For more eTravel Weekly episodes, you can sign up for a free digital backpack at www.e-travelweekly.com, where I post the video, audio, and newsletter, plus all the links featured inside this week's show. You can also subscribe via YouTube at Michelle on YouTube.me or via iTunes at Michelle on iTunes.me.